Tacoma's residential curbside recycling program is changing.
Some innovative temporary housing shelters are springing up.
And we'll take a trip to the Buffalo Soldiers Museum.
All that and more coming up next on Tacoma Report. Hi, and welcome to this new edition of Tacoma Report. I'm Laura Proctor.
And I'm Angie Foster. City officials have made emergency housing a top priority in Tacoma and have come up with a unique way to help with this crisis.
The city has placed 22 micro shelters at 802 Martin Luther King Jr. Way. These temporary emergency units can house up to 35 individuals at a time. The site is being operated by the Low Income Housing Institute, which is headquartered in Seattle.
The temporary emergency microshelter site, which opened in mid-December, has 22 units and houses 35 individuals. The site is operated by the Low Income Housing Institute. They provide 24/7 site management. There are security cameras in place. The site is fenced, has 24/7 monitoring on site. Individuals do receive case management services here, connection to job resources, and efforts are made to transition them into permanent housing. So this effort was in response to an encampment that we had occurring at People's Park and a need to provide individuals more stable housing during our winter months. The contract term for the use of the site is for 8 months, and we expect individuals to be here approximately 6 months, given the setup and takedown time for the site. This is an emergency shelter site, similar to the stability site that we have down in the Dome District. The city is also working very hard on increasing our temporary shelter availability right now, working with our Metropolitan Development Council, actually convening residents and homeless service providers, other stakeholders in a conversation about how to increase our temporary shelter availability throughout the city. We've had several churches take us up on that recently and actually are in the permitting process, both Bethlehem Baptist and Altheimer Church, and we are looking for more organizations to join that effort.
The city is also partnering with the Metropolitan Development Council to bring together homelessness stakeholders to find new and innovative solutions, as well as to identify other sheltering sites throughout the community. The city uses the point-in-time count as its data source for determining the impacts of homelessness. The next point in time is scheduled for January 20th. For more information, visit them online. In addition to the homelessness issue, the Tacoma City Council is also working hard to make it easier for residents to access information and entertainment.
The council recently passed an ordinance requiring that all televisions and publicly accessible locations must have their closed captioning settings turned on, and that programming is accessible for the deaf and hard of hearing. The new ordinance is expected to go into effect March 1st. The city is planning to reach out to residents, private and public businesses, and organizations in Tacoma through the end of 2020 and beyond about this new requirement. For more information, visit the Office of Equity and Human Rights online. A Recycle Reset is coming to Tacoma's residential curbside recycling program. Stacey Ellifrit has more on what people can expect from these upcoming changes.
Do you live in a single-family home or duplex in Tacoma? Due to rising costs, a Recycle Reset is coming to Tacoma's residential curbside recycling program.
The recycling changes are in response to really a global shift in the whole recycling industry. Part of the impacts are the costs have gone up for processing, and the markets, because there's more supply than there is demand, the markets are more picky about what they accept, and they don't want to take commodities that have a lot of contamination in them.
Changes include maintaining residential curbside commingling recycling service with minor adjustments to the accepted curbside recycling list, as well as other points.
So the main points of the Recycle Reset: first, there is a surcharge helping to pay for the increased costs, and then there's going to be a lot of education and outreach focused on contamination to address that contamination issue.
The surcharge is a total of $2.82 per month. $2.32 of that will cover those increased costs. The remaining 50 cents will help fund the increased education and outreach efforts around contamination. Starting at the beginning of 2020, these changes will be identified on customers' bills as Recycle Reset surcharge.
The surcharge will apply to all of our residential customers, so those are customers in single-family homes or duplexes. and it won't apply for our customers that are already on low-income billing assistance programs.
Another factor of the Recycle Reset are changes in curbside glass collection.
We're working to set up a number of drop-off boxes throughout the community where customers can bring their glass and drop it off, similar to here at the Recycle Center. And those will be spread throughout the different neighborhoods in the city. We won't stop collecting glass curbside until those boxes are set up.
Locations for the 5 glass drop-off stations are expected to be finalized in early 2020. For Tacoma Report, I'm Stacey Ellifrit.
The Recycle Reset will be effective January 1st, 2020. To find out more, visit tacomarecycles.org/changes.
Drop off your holiday tree for disposal at the Tacoma Recycle Center starting December 26th through January 12th. Curbside tree disposal is also available by placing your tree inside your brown yard waste bin for pickup on your regularly scheduled collection day. Make sure the entire tree fits inside your container and that the lid is able to close. All decorations, lights, and stands must be removed, and no artificial or flocked trees will be accepted curbside or at the recycle center. All real trees that are dropped off or picked up will be sustainably composted. The winter edition of EnviroTalk is now in homes.
This EnviroTalk quarterly newsletter features the solid waste collection calendars for both north and south routes, a focus on sustainable packaging, and even a delicious recipe for a savory chicken curry. Also check out the feature on the Recycle Reset to see how the city's residential recycling program is changing. For more information and to view both the new edition and the older issues online, visit the EnviroTalk site. There's a new exciting exhibit that's currently on display at the Washington State History Museum.
We'll tell you all about it when we come back.
There's a new traveling exhibit by the Smithsonian Institute currently on display at the Washington State History Museum titled Men of Change: Power, Triumph, Truth.
The exhibit features the stories of distinguished African American men who changed the course of our nation. The exhibit will be in Tacoma through March 15, 2020. Tickets can be purchased at the museum website, or passes may be checked out from the Tacoma Public Library with a library card. On the next edition of Tacoma Report, we'll get an up-close look at this monumental exhibit. The Ford Foundation has selected the Washington State History Museum and the City of Tacoma as partners to participate in its Men of Courage Barbershop Challenge. As part of the Ford Gives Back initiative, the challenge helps raise the profile of the stories of how African American men give back to their communities. 2 barbershops in Tacoma have been selected to participate in the challenge and show off the power of community engagement.
The Barbershop Challenge is a really cool competition between 2 barbershops that was brought to us by the Ford Fund to really encourage community activity and community service. And so 2 shops are really going head to head to really have a good impact in Tacoma. So it's a good competition. Barbershops are a place where men come together and families come together and just have conversations. The barbershops are like a place, it's like a men's group where you talk about politics and health and relationships and job opportunities in the community. So barbershops are really a special place, particularly in the African American community, and they do a lot for this community.
Learn more about the program at the Challenge's website.
Each area of Tacoma has some hidden treasures just waiting to be discovered. One of these is located in central Tacoma. Lane Fickey takes a look at one nonprofit organization that's making sure an important part of our history is never forgotten.
Located on Wilkeson Street, just off of 19th, you'll find the Buffalo Soldier Museum. These soldiers played a significant role in the development of our country.
The Buffalo Soldiers were units made up of African Americans who served in the United States military from 1866 through 1944, primarily in the 9th and 10th Cavalries. They originally began on horseback and often found themselves as frontline defenders.
The Buffalo Soldiers were named by the Native Americans, and they were named by the Native Americans out of respect for these men who were also known as the peacekeepers during this time period. Also because they were tough, they had woolly hair like the buffalo, their eyes were big like the buffalo, and they were fearsome fighters.
The museum was founded by Jackie's father, William Jones, in 2005. He passed away in 2009 at the age of 91. Jackie now has the honor of running the museum and carrying on the tradition.
My dad served as a Buffalo soldier from 1940 to 1944, so he lived this part of history. You know, this was also a time of a separate army, a black army and a white army, but these men loved America.
The museum is filled with mementos and memorabilia from the time period. Many donated from local families who had relatives that were Buffalo soldiers, and other items were obtained from collections across the country by Jackie and her father. There are only 2 Buffalo Soldier museums located outside of military bases in the United States. One is in Houston, Texas. The other is the Tacoma Museum. Many visitors to the museum have heard the term Buffalo Soldier, but most have no idea about the makeup of these units and the significant role they played. That's why the historical aspect that's passed on to those who stop by the museum is so important.
In terms of the education of America, the great early building of America, the contributions that these men made for America, because also they fought on the front line for America. They were freedmen, they were freed slaves. They couldn't read or write, but they have a love for America.
When you stop by the museum, plan on spending more than just a brief visit, because each item on display tells a unique story, and there's nothing else like this in the region. For Tacoma Report, I'm Lane Fickey.
The Buffalo Soldiers Museum is free and open to the public on Wednesdays and Saturdays from 11 till 3. For more information, give them a call or visit their website.
Some local high school students recently got a first-hand look at how local government works.
I'd like to call order the City Council meeting of December 10th, 2019.
These students applied and were accepted to participate in the 2019 edition of Student Government Day. Participants met with the City of Tacoma's mayor, council members, executives, and city staff to gain first-hand knowledge of how the City of Tacoma operates and serves the community. The highlight of the day was being able to participate in a mock City Council meeting where students got the opportunity to play the role of the mayor, city council members, and city staff. Student Government Day has become an annual tradition that local high school students look forward to. The City of Tacoma is working hard to increase equity and accessibility when it comes to contracting and its support of minority and women-owned businesses.
The next phase of this effort will involve ongoing strategic planning with the city's community partners and ultimately will implement a wide range of program improvements to achieve these goals. This priority will be worked on through the end of 2020. The City of Tacoma's website has more information on its equity and contracting objectives. Winter is upon us and cold weather can play havoc in your home.
When we come back from our final break, we've got some tips on how to get your house safely through these winter months. Stay with us.
Sub-freezing temperatures can spell trouble for your home's plumbing and a messy inconvenience for you.
If you haven't already prepared for winter's cold, Tacoma Water reminds us it's still not too late. John Phillips has the story.
During those winters when Arctic air moves in and ducks are able to walk on water, a few hours of freezing weather can mean disaster at home. Frozen water pipes can burst open and create a flood as they thaw. A few simple measures can help you avoid a huge mess and costly repairs.
As we all know, water expands when it turns into ice.
Make sure yard hoses are disconnected and drained. Install one of these hose bib covers to protect the pipe just inside the wall from freezing.
If you have exposed pipes in an unheated basement or a crawl space, you can insulate them using simple foam like this you can get from any hardware store, and you can cut it to size to fit any pipe that you need.
Always keep a little heat on in the house if you leave. Set the thermostat to at least 55 degrees.
When temperatures really plunge, Tacoma Water recommends that you open up the cabinets under your sink so that the warm air has a chance to circulate around those pipes.
A small trickle from a faucet to circulate water through your household plumbing system will also help. It's very important for you to know how to react quickly to turn off the main water supply line coming into your home. The main valve is usually in the basement or crawl space closest to the water meter location. For Tacoma Report, I'm John Phillips.
If you have questions about finding your main household water supply shutoff valve, call Tacoma Water's trouble line at 253-502-8384.
You can catch a new episode of Urban Green airing right here on TV Tacoma. This winter edition starts with a look at the Recycle Reset. Viewers will enjoy a caprese stack cooking demonstration, and the show will visit the first micro library in Western Washington. Things will then close out with a segment on how to properly prune your trees. For a listing of air dates or to watch this and other episodes, visit the Urban Green webpage on the city's site. Tacoma Public Library will synchronize their branch hours starting in January as part of the One System, One Schedule campaign.
On Thursday, January 2nd, the main library branch located on Tacoma Avenue South in downtown Tacoma will align its hours with the rest of the library system. Operating hours will be from noon to 8 p.m. on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, and 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. With one set of hours across the system, it will be easier than ever to plan regular visits to Tacoma's libraries. To find out more about this and other library programming, visit their site.
And finally, administrative offices at the City of Tacoma will close Monday, January 20th in observance of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. The Tacoma Recovery and Transfer Center will be open as normally scheduled from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and customer pickups will not be affected. That's all the time we have on this edition of Tacoma Report.
A great way to find out about the services the City of Tacoma has to offer is by going to cityoftacoma.org. Until next time, I'm Laura Proctor.
And I'm Angie Foster. Thanks for watching.